Speak to law professor Yog'in Kantorovic in West Jerusalem. He and his organization, the Coalit Policy Forum, have worked closely with the Israeli government on the drafting of the nation-state law. Professor, this controversial law declares the right to exercise national self-determination, but it fails to have any broad consensus across Israeli society, as those protests showed. No wonder, then, we've seen massive protests. No wonder critics say it's racist, and it cements the discrimination of non-Jewish minorities in the country. What's your response?
Nothing in the law discriminates against any individuals based on any basis. It does not take away anybody's rights, and it does not give special rights to any individuals. The notion of having an official language that's the majority language in a country is not a weird idea. Most Western European liberal democracies have it, and every Arab country has it. There's nothing racist, there's nothing discriminatory in this law. And of course, the fact that you can have huge protests in Tel Aviv with the Palestinian flag is a sign of how vibrant Israeli democracy is. This is a democracy that functions. This is a democracy where even the harshest critics of the existence of the country can speak out in the middle of Tel Aviv. If only we could have such demonstrations in Ramallah.
Okay, but I beg to differ about the democracy. I mean, even if we go back to Israel's Declaration of Independence in 1948, at the time it set new standards by emphasizing democracy, by emphasizing equality for all, regardless of religion or ethnicity. But neither democracy or equality are mentioned once in the nation-state law. So as someone who advised on the drafting of this law, what's your response to those who say it's racist, undemocratic, and certainly unequal?
Again, the most important point to emphasize is nothing in this law, neither the creation of an official language, a flag, takes away anyone's rights or gives away anyone's rights, and the equality was already in the Constitution. Israel introduced constitutional guarantees of human dignity, human rights, and there's a constitutional right of equality that's already in the Constitution. Israel does not have a constitution that was written all at once. Instead, it's written in little pieces. And the human rights and equality provisions, the provisions about democracy, they're already there. And when people say, why aren't they in this basic law? That's because they're already put in. Indeed, Israel did democracy before it addressed the Jewish character of the state. So these criticisms, I think, are disingenuous.
Yeah, but Professor, your argument doesn't hold any water, because we just played a soundbite from the Israeli Prime Minister, who said he rejects the idea that Israel is a state for anybody else than the Jewish people. But instead of democracy and equality, non-Jewish minorities have lost the right to self-determination. The Arabic language, as we know, has been downgraded, and the creation of purely Jewish settlements has been declared an issue of national interest. That's extraordinary. I mean, these settlements, as we know, are illegal under international law. And Arabs point out that this is not a policy of equality, it's a policy of superiority, isn't it?
I think everything in your description of the law is incorrect. The law does not allow the creation of Jewish particular settlements. It encourages the settlement throughout the country, but not any specifically Jewish settlements. Arabs and Jews can live in all Israeli cities. The law has nothing to do with the West Bank and does not apply there. And Arabic was never made an official language by Israel. It was made an official language by the colonial British mandate, and Israel has simply never made a law about this. Palestine has Arabic as an official language. Egypt has Arabic as an official language. Why can the world's one Jewish country not have Hebrew as its official language?
Let's just broaden this out, because even
self-determination is not something.
President Reuven Rivlin said the undemocratic nature of the law makes it a weapon for Israel's enemy. And the outgoing head of the Jewish agency, Nathan Sharansky, says, look, the law is driving a wedge between Jews in Israel and those in the diaspora. So even Jews at home and abroad are extremely worried about this law.
The even Jews argument is easy to make, because Israel is a democracy where lots of people can express different views. It's true, it's hard to make the argument even Palestinian Arabs disagree with the Palestinian government, because they'd be put in jail. It's true, in Israel this law was subject to a 7-year debate in the Knesset. It won by a significant majority, and polls show that it is extremely popular. It simply restates the basic values of Israel, that the Jewish people should have a national home like every other people.
We're running out of time. Let me get a final point from you, Professor.
And we know it has critics. That's democracy.
Just a final point. Many observers say that, look, the nation-state law is largely pointless anyway. It's really about Netanyahu picking a fight with the political left and the broader international community to win another majority at the next election. This is a shrewd move by him politically then, isn't it?
This law was actually first introduced 7 years ago by a left-wing party, which only began opposing it after the right-wing government took power. This is not a right-wing law. The current Prime Minister does not need this law to win a new majority. And the law has been passed simply to restate what most countries have in their constitution, basic provisions about language, national character. Israel's waited 70 years. It's taken a long time. And after putting democracy in the Constitution, after putting equality in the Constitution, now it is time to address the basic idea that the Jewish people should have a state like other people in the world.
Yugin Kntorovic, thank you for talking to Al Jazeera.